Kimi Antonelli, a third successive pole, a third successive victory. That has never been done before.
I mean, George Russell should really start to worry. I mean, he's been waiting a long time in his career to drive a winning car. And then he has to cope with this teenager just kicking his ass for the past 3 weekends.
Charles Leclerc, ultimately though, he was frustrated. A pit stop, you've got Charles saying, why did we pit? Why was I not consulted?
Yeah. And then there's radio silence. You know, if it was the perfect pit stop, they would say, yes, that was me. Grazie mille, ho fatto io.
How impressive is it that he keeps that car?
I would have just taken off at least 2 corners and the front wing and potentially also the gearbox.
Oh, here we are then, folks. We're back. It is the Pit Talk podcast, powered by Ithara, Chris McCarthy and Robert Doornbos. It has been a while. We do apologise for our radio silence, but there's been a lot of good reason for that. An awful lot going on in the world. But Mille Miglia, here in the heart of Dubai, Robert.
We're back. Good to be back. And what a place to be after last night. You know, Miami Grand Prix.
Yeah, we're going to have to settle in. We joked about this. This could be a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, we don't know where to start. There's so much going on. So much going on. On Thursday night, we spoke to each other on Dubai Eye at your radio channel, and we already were worried about if the Grand Prix would happen due to the bad weather that was incoming in Miami. But they did a great job, I think, Formula One, to postpone the race or to move it forward. And we got treated with one of the best Grand Prix I've seen.
Yeah, we're going to get into it all. There's an awful lot for us to discuss, but we were just talking before jumping into our hot seats. We haven't been in the same room in this place for about 2 months.
I know. And the worst part is it's going to take another 3 weeks before we're back, you know, after this. Why all these big gaps, you know? Unfortunately, the gap in March, we couldn't, nobody could do something about it. But it's good to be back. We're here.
It is great to be back. Yeah. And listen, so much to unpack. Ultimately, it's a sprint weekend in Miami. I was just remarking to you, I love the weekend, not just on the track, off the track as well. Miami has become, I'll say this, Miami's become one of the must-watch weekends on the racing calendar. Liberty Media have done a great job with the weekend over there.
They've done a great job, and considering it's on a parking lot around the Hard Rock Stadium, I mean, they've done a really good job of making it a proper circuit. Yes, there were some jokes initially about the marina, which is not there. It's just painted the fake marina. But at the end of the day, that's also Miami. And
what are you saying? Miami is fake, Robert?
No, but they love the show. They love the show. I mean, to be honest, you can get hot dogs for $180 a piece. You can get
watermelon.
You can sit on a yacht, but actually you're just sitting on the road. It's part of the show, and I think they've done an amazing job. It was another sellout, and actually the owner of the Hard Rock Stadium of the Miami Dolphins, the NFL team, Stephen Ross, he's making more money with one weekend hosting a Formula One Grand Prix than the whole season in the NFL.
That tells
a lot. It's a success.
It does say a lot. Lionel Messi was there.
Big star showed up.
Him and his family. Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon ate the microphone off Sky. Yeah.
At least said about that.
They should send it out to him.
I think Jimmy Fallon was having a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, he was on fire. He was on the limiter before the race started already.
He was on the limiter. Listen, one man who, let's get to the top story.
Yeah.
Kimi Antonelli, a third successive pole, a third successive victory. That has never been done before. The youngest pole sitter, the youngest to lead a driver standing.
Yeah.
I mean, this boy, we've been talking about it. Debut season, he showed signs. Then he went quiet in the middle part of last year. Then he finished with a flourish. But right now, Robert, he is dominating the chatter in the F1 world. Just how special is he?
Yeah, very special, considering he's only 19 years of age, Chris. 19. I mean, already the media loves him. The way he approaches the media is very natural. His family follows him all over. His father, his mother, his sister, they were all there. And the pace has been there all weekend. I mean, George Russell should really start to worry. I mean, he's been waiting a long time in his career to drive a winning car. Finally, he got a championship-winning potential car. And then he has to cope with this teenager just kicking his ass for the past 3 weekends. I mean, this is F1. It's such a natural talent who it doesn't stop learning, you know. I think Bono, his racing engineer, plays a huge role in his development as well. The way, I don't know if you listen to the radio, I like to listen to these onboard radios, the way he manages. Kimi is still quite nervous on the radio. Like, I feel something in the clutch, I hear something in the engine. No, just watch your temperatures, focus on this, focus on that, with a very calm voice, because he's been doing this for ages and obviously been very successful with Lewis Hamilton. So it's all gelling for Kimi, and you know, the talent is mega. Toto Wolff really made up for his error not signing Verstappen a few years ago. Now he signed his own superstar talent.
And you got to give Toto a lot of credit, Robert, because 11 years of age, he spotted Kimi in karting.
Yeah.
He's put his reputation. I mean, he's backed himself as Toto. He's defended Kimi to the hill. There was a lot of people questioning,
of course,
is it a little bit too soon?
His first free practice in Monza at his home race, he destroyed the car after 3 laps. He was fast at that time, the fastest, but then it can also doubt yourself a little bit. Is it the right pick? Is it not too early? Is it not, you know? So yes, full credit for Toto.
And you know, I said it to you that Kimi he's quite small in stature. He's a diminutive. UF1 drivers are by nature, but he's coming out of himself.
Yeah.
You know, there was real
confidence.
Yeah, there was unbridled joy. There's a confidence about him that I saw, certainly standing on that podium. And that is ominous for the rest of F1, because if that young man grows in confidence, and feels
story
like he
for the
belongs.
coming years. I mean, considering that the new regulations don't change too much, we can talk about it later. How much it changed? It changed minimal this weekend, but the engine rules will remain the same for the following years. He can be the man like what Max did, you know, be dominant for a few years in the sport. Still early stage. He's leading the championship. Anything can happen. There are like 19 races still to go. 18. But I think the most important factor from this confidence part was that he really won the race on merit this time. Because in China, you could say, okay, there was no pressure. He was just on his own, driving away from the field. In Suzuka, he was very fortunate with the safety car. So the criticasters can say, no, he did it really on, you know, not a clean start, recovering the positions. It was very close with Lando Norris. He had the fastest pit stop. It all came together.
It was that outlap that he did. That, in actual fact,
the pit stop and the outlap.
Yeah, the TV broadcasters missed it.
Yeah, completely.
They completely missed. He got out. He put an unbelievable lap together.
On colder tires.
And then
Lando came in. Lando's pit stop was 2.8, and I think his was 2.2. So it's 6/10 already in the back. Then a fast outlap, which was just enough. And the difference between cold and warm tires. So, Lando didn't have... He felt gutted, I think, that he didn't win it.
He should. Gutted.
But he didn't have any speed left at the end.
Yeah, we'll talk McLaren. I want to just kind of drill down on Kimi a little bit further if we can. From an F1 driver to an F1 driver, break it down for us, Robert. What makes him this special talent that we're all getting excited about? Yes, it's okay. Pole positions, race wins, tells you that he's quick. Tells you that he's got it upstairs as well. But from a technical aspect, what impresses you so much?
To be honest, to find your feet in Formula One is difficult, but to find it in a top team and where the pressure is on and the whole world is watching you, it's even more difficult. To come back from an error, because you have to make rookie mistakes, like crashing a car in Melbourne, big one, you remember? And then the next day, or a few hours later, he qualifies in second place. You know, the mechanics just had the car ready in time. These are the little things that you create a relationship with your crew that is next level. Similar to what Max did, for example, in his early years when he would crash a car on the way to the grid in Budapest. The mechanics would finish it for him just in time with 40 seconds left. So guys, thank you. Now it's up to me, and he ends up on the podium. This is where you create a relationship with your team that you can really win and lose together. And they understand that he has to make that he has to fill sometime. But the way he recovers surprises me the most and shows that he's in the right spot to win a championship.
You were making the point as well from social media. The Mercedes kind of brethren, the Mercedes family have really bought into him.
He brings the energy. He brings the energy.
That youthful kind of exuberance. That youthful kind of, I guess, innocence in a lot of ways. The team are buying into him. And George Russell, I'll say it, marginalised that little bit more.
To be honest, he was invisible this weekend. And then when he was visible, he came out with a quote, which is the worst quote you can make, by saying, these type of circuits don't really suit my driving style. And then he's talking about low grip surfaces. So another low grip couldn't be Singapore, can be Baku, can be perhaps a little bit Las Vegas. I mean, what are you saying? That you're going to give away another 4 or 5 weekends to your teammate who's destroying you at the moment? No, he should have been out there and said, I'm disappointed. I didn't find the right balance, but, I'll get back on top of my game. No, he was a bit invisible this weekend.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that it's a driver at the moment that has been fighting all his life to get in a winning car, and then sees this teenager show up, which is almost half his size, and is the faster one at the moment. Is the better one. Everything is working towards him. Like you said, within the team, the energy, the social media team is following Kimi this weekend more than it was following George, because I think he was feeling insecure about the situation.
And he was doubly annoyed because early on in the race, he was bemoaning the fact that he was on the wrong
strat mode on the steering wheel.
What does that mean, layman's terms?
The moment the safety car comes out, you have the yellow light that flashes on your steering wheel, or you get it through the radio. Straight away, you change the strat mode of the engine, fuel consumption or something, So during a safety car, you talk to your engineer, you make sure you're in the right settings before the race continues and restarts. And he was in the wrong mode. After 2 or 3 laps, he found out he was in the wrong mode. Can be a driver error, can be an engineering error, but it also shows you're not gelling. You're not on it. It's not there. This weekend it wasn't there.
I don't want to limit. I don't want to kind of put a dampener on Kimi Antonelli, because rightly so, he's absolutely the story of F1 right now. I love the quotes of Toto Wolff afterwards saying, we are not going to allow him to get ahead of himself. And his father, Marco, was there. And Toto kind of turned to Marco and said,
make sure he keeps his feet on the ground.
And he said, right.
Yeah.
Because that's, I guess, the next big...
It's funny because Marco also owns a racing team and knows how to talk to drivers. I mean, on a different level than Formula One. But I saw something on social media that Marco went to Kimi and he said, you can't do this at this level to brake this late into turn 1. What did you do? At the start, that he launched himself off the circuit. And then Kimi said, the moment I hit the brake, I knew I was going off. Sorry, Dad. Next time I won't do it again. It's really, really nice to see, So the family will keep him grounded.
Because you were making the point, and I think it's not lost on me either. When you look at Italian sport in general right now, we've obviously got a FIFA World Cup in the not too distant
future. Which is not happening for Italy.
The Azzurri are not there for the 3rd successive FIFA World Cup. So they're scratching around for heroes right now.
Yeah.
You've got Yannick Sinner,
which is a superhero,
coming off the back of 5 successive ATP 1000 event victories. That's never been done before. He smashed Alexander Zverev in the final over the weekend in 58 minutes. So he's there.
He's there. A huge Formula One fan, by the way. Huge F1 fan.
And then you've got Kimi.
Yeah.
So Italian sport, forget the football, which is obviously the national sport. Kimi and Yannick are kind of battling for that. And as you said to me before,
but you forget to mention Ferrari.
Well,
but they don't get the rewards at the moment. They don't,
and we will get to Ferrari. But you were making the point that dropping your kids off at school before doing this podcast, you've got Italian dads running up to you. Kimi,
we have a new superhero. Now it's our time. You had Max for a few years. Now we have, but this is also Italy. I remember my Italian mechanics at Binardi. When everything went smooth, they were walking like this with their... When everything went to shit, when the car caught fire before I did my qualifying lap, they were all pointing at each other or busy eating pasta. So this is also Italy. They're so proud, and I'm happy for them. The Tifosi. They can be proud of, not the Scuderia, but they can be proud of Kimi.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He is a superstar in the making, but they've just got to keep his feet on the ground. And, again, I think it was Martin Brundle on the commentary that I watched, he likened him, and it kind of made me chuckle. There's a bit of Valentino Rossi about him. Maybe not as flamboyant, certainly not as extravagant.
Well, that can still happen.
But he's kind of got the looks.
Yeah.
And he's, as I say, he was reveling. He was enjoying that victory. And why wouldn't you? 19 years of age,
of course.
top of your game.
Of course.
But Formula One, an Italian champion, dare I say it, needs it a little bit.
They need a new superstar, and this is the perfect story, breaking all the records at the moment, and who knows where it will end. winning 3 out of the first 4 is quite an achievement.
It certainly is. Now, you've referenced it, and I was intrigued by what you said. It made minimal difference. The changes, Robert, it's been a long 5 weeks heading into this point. Obviously, the FIA sat down. We've seen the regulations. In the words of Toto Wolff, what did he say? They didn't take a baseball bat, we took a scalpel.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen said we've tickled.
Yeah, we tickled
the regulations. From what you saw this weekend, we've got less clipping. We've obviously got less lifting and coasting.
Yeah.
They were big things. We want full out, certainly qualifying.
Yeah.
What did you make overall of the weekend? And was there enough there that suggests, we can all get on board with the changes?
Well, let's not forget, it's a completely different circuit than China. In China, you were on board for a long time on a long straight. You could really drop the top speed and you can hear it. And it was different. This is low grip, street circuit. There's some high-speed stuff as well. I mean, top speeds were 345, 350 for George in the race, in the slipstream. So it has everything you want for the current cars, I think. It showed that it was a fantastic Grand Prix, good overtaking, not really only the battery overtaking, but timing, more like where do you deploy the battery, on the front straight, or do you want to wait for the back straight? So I enjoyed it more than any of the first 3 Grand Prix. And hopefully it will go in the right direction, but there will be races like Monza will be a special one. A special one in the way of how can you cope with the super clipping on the tempo of speed. That will not be the best publicity, I think, for these new cars, for these regulations.
But I think the thing that I took away a lot of things from the weekend, but there was a little bit less yo-yo. It felt that any move that happened stuck that little bit more.
It was more a driver move. Look at Max Verstappen, how he came back through the race. I mean, that was him just pushing the tires, pushing everything he got because he was pissed off coming from the back again. Every lunge, he was just going all in.
He was.
And as a driver, when you start thinking about the driver that is coming behind you, Max, he's going to lunge. You saw them waiting with the turning because they just knew, even though he was 50 meters behind, he would just launch in there, to make sure he get the pass done. It was good racing, Chris.
That was interesting what you mentioned there, because Oscar Piastri, I don't know if you saw this, in the cool down area waiting to go up. The 3 fellas, I love the insight.
This part.
They show the highlights and they all have a little chat. It's interesting to hear Oscar Piastri talking about these new cars when he said, you'll look in your mirror and a car will be half a second behind. You look again, and he said that they're by your side. They're still getting used to the fact that
the speed difference is huge. It's still huge, especially if you're harvesting and the other one is deploying. It's still huge, but that's part of the game now. I mean, everybody says on the internet, we need the V8s, we need the V10s back, but that's. By the way, that's also good news, because we read that the FIA boss said that probably in 2030 the V8s would come back with less energy deployment from the battery. The sound will come back. So there's in that aspect some good news coming. But for now, we have to focus on the rules and regulations you have now, and this is what it is. So they just have to make the best of it.
You've got the facts. Finish off on Kimi before we move the conversation on. He's joined a whole host of the greats,
big names,
in some of what he's done. Senna and Schumacher, what's he done there with those two?
For the first 3 pole positions out of your career, on the trot, one after the other, it's only Schumacher and Senna that have done it. Then the first 3 wins in your career, converting this pole position, he's the only guy. Because there were 2 other drivers that had 3 wins in their Formula 1 career, was Mika Hakkinen and Damon Hill. Also not bad names to be part of.
But he's the first.
He's the first one to do it from pole position 3 times.
3 victories.
So it's a record-breaking story for F1, which is great publicity at the end of the day. And for Mercedes.
Given all of the problems, given the situation here in the Middle East, losing Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, it's a welcome tonic.
It's a welcome. Of course, it's very welcome. And almost losing the Miami Grand Prix. Can you imagine how much stress they must have had on Saturday to decide we're going to just pull the Grand Prix forward a couple hours. You know how it works with TV. You have to call all the broadcasters in the world and say, guys, change your program. We have the Grand Prix at 1 p.m. instead of 3 p.m.
Glad they did it. But I've got to be honest, Robert.
A little shower would have been welcome. I was watching the GP2 race or the F2 race, and I was just enjoying the fact that you can't see anything on the straights, which means, it's a ballsy game, a street circuit in the wet, very low grip. But okay, that would have been the perfect.
And all of the engineers teasing us. There's going to be spots of rain.
Yeah.
5-10 laps time. Corner 7 and 8, and I'm thinking, right, here we go. This is going to mix things up. It never came.
And then also it would have been difficult because it's such a high temperature. It's very, very warm. So only a few spits of rain wouldn't make you change tires. You need really a lot of rain. But then again, if it was too much, there would be aquaplaning all over the place and it would cancel the race. So
we don't want that.
No, this was good as the way it was.
But as we've said, just a little bit of rain.
One bucket just before the end of the race.
Exactly. Makes things a little bit spicy. Listen, well done, Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli. A lot of questions for George. George has got a little bit of...
He's got some homework to do.
A little bit over the next few
Canada
weeks.
was good for him last year. So let's see. Then Montreal is the next race, of course. And for Kimi, it's most of the circuits he obviously tried already, or he raced it last year. But still, to go to a place like Canada... to be on it straight away, or to go to a place like Suzuka and win it, it shows that you're an extreme talent. It's
I didn't like, Robert, I must be honest with you. Well done, Kimi.
Yeah.
But some of the language, some of the rhetoric from George this weekend, he was talking about the fact the upgrades from Ferrari, the upgrades from McLaren, from Red Bull were, and I quote, daunting.
No, you can't say that. I mean, I know Mercedes is waiting for the upgrades for Montreal, and they think the package will be 0.4 of a second. That's what they think. So it's quite a bold statement from them as well. But the jump that Red Bull made, you're not even coming out of Q2 in Japan, and now qualifying on the front row and having the pace all weekend. He had a different strategy, Max, but basically he was there, mixing it with the top boys. McLaren upgrade worked extremely well. They had like 4 podium positions in 2 races. There's still a lot of development to be done on these cars. And it shows who can be the best in the development race will still upset Mercedes.
Well, I mean, that scares me a little bit. Here's me thinking, right, we might actually have a bit of a title tussle. And you're telling me that Mercedes are ready to roll out a package that might give them 0.4 of a second. I mean, that's scary for the rest, given the fact that Kimi still won this race. But, if Kimi Antonelli is the story of the weekend from an individual, a driver perspective, I guess the bigger story is McLaren. 1 and 2 in the sprint.
1 and 2.
Lando and Oscar. And then on the podium, 2nd and 3rd on the Sunday as well. That's huge. World champions, back-to-back constructors champions as well, of course. Their package, they've gotten away. They can be hugely satisfied. I mean, you made the point to me, though, Lando, he was a little bit crestfallen.
We should have won it. Basically, he said we should have won it. So he knew probably at the pit stop it went wrong. Maybe his outlap wasn't great either, but then again, he was on cold tires. So he was very close in winning it. And McLaren did have a good track record here. They won it obviously with Oscar last year. Before that, it was also Lando that had a great result. They can definitely be proud of the step they made, McLaren. Coming from where they were, not even starting in, what was it?
Melbourne. Remember Oscar?
Oscar hitting the wall, and Lando just couldn't fire up his car. So, they made
So is that encouraging? Does that tell you that, they're going to have a big say?
It tells me that not Mercedes is going to walk away with this championship. I mean, of course, the first hits, 4 Grand Prix victories is painful to the competition. But then again, it's a long season. We have a few more sprint weekends. I love sprint weekends because then you don't get to test that much, right? It's 1 hour of practice and straight into qualifying, straight into racing, qualifying racing. So Canada will be the same.
Here's a question that a lot of F1 fans might have, Robert. Why can't we have a sprint race every weekend? Every race weekend?
Why, I don't know, with the rules and regulations, or maybe financially that the FOM says you have to pay this amount of money to get it, or you have to be selected for it.
Would you be in favor of it?
I would be in favor of more, maybe half. Because, for example, Monaco is very difficult. Singapore is very difficult. So if you have only 1 hour of practice, it means the driver has to has a bigger impact on the result. If you have 2 hours of practice or 3 hours, it always becomes a bit, I wouldn't say boring, but you don't need 3 hours of practice on a place like Barcelona because they can drive it blindfolded.
That's it.
Right? So, in that aspect, a few more, I wouldn't mind.
I think that's it. I mean, maybe it was just all the ingredients, producing what we had this weekend. But Sprint race was very different from the race.
Yeah.
Different names in the mix, different storylines. It does make, and that's without the rain, by the way.
Yeah.
So it does
Can you imagine?
make for a far better product when you have more cars, more drivers in with a chance of winning with the different storylines.
And it shows also that Kimi, to come back to Kimi a little bit, that he is still very inexperienced compared to all the other drivers around him. So, for example, on the Saturday afternoon, what he did in the sprint, when he got the flag already of too many track limits, that his engineer said, be careful. And then he still took another track limit on his own on the final lap without having pressure from behind, nothing. And it cost him a penalty. So these are still the things that you see, okay, that we have to iron out with Kimi. And of course, on Sunday, he was faultless, apart from his start again. That's not necessarily only his fault. I understood that engineers said settings on the clutch can change. They predicted more rubber, more grip, so they changed the clutch setting for him. So it's not his reaction time that is slower. It's really a team effort.
In terms of that start, the Ferrari is an
That's a
absolute
rocket ship.
You've said it. It's a rocket ship.
It's a rocket
Charles Leclerc is gone. I did love it as well, though. Obviously, talk about the breaking point. You've got Max, and you've got, who was it? Was it Kimi?
Well, in the sprint, we had Max and Lewis.
But in the race, the two of them went off.
Yeah, they went off, and he just behind.
Charles just behind,
Yeah.
and he's off. Ultimately, though, he was frustrated. A pit stop that he had no say in. He came on the radio, said, guys, next time you're pitting me, you want to let me know what the plan is before
Unbelievable, this
I come
strategy
in.
always.
So that just pissed him off. And then we saw late in the race, in fact, a couple of laps from the end, his little tussle ended up clipping the wall.
Doing a Max Verstappen 360,
Exactly.
but he did hit the wall.
Clipped the wall. And then after the race, a 20-second penalty.
Ridiculous. Drive-through. It's the harshest penalty you can get, right?
Given the fact he's already lost podium in third, he ended up finishing sixth.
He lost the podium. He lost a huge amount of lap time trying to make the finish. I think, to be honest, if your car falls to pieces and pieces of the wing fall off, pieces of the suspension fall off, yes, you cannot continue when all the sparks fly. We've seen this in the past as well, that Lance Stroll would have destroyed his car and tried to make the pits back. You can't do that. But here, his pace was slower. He couldn't take any right-hand corners because he damaged his left front suspension. But come on, he still made the finish. And he lost 3 positions at the end. So why punish him that much?
Punish him more.
I don't think the FIA was really on it, the stewards. Because also the initial incident with Max Verstappen, he had an early pit stop, Max. He came out of the pit lane. And for those of you who don't know it, there's a white line towards turn 1. You cannot cross the white line. Then there was this message saying that Max is under scrutiny for potentially crossing the white line. Either you cross it or you don't. I mean, we have cameras everywhere.
Exactly.
If you can't see it from the onboard, take the camera from the top or the heli camera.
Yeah,
Why don't punish him straight away or penaltize?
Yes, or we'll make that decision post-race.
Yeah, it's like giving a soccer player a red card after the match.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense at all. And in
And
the
he
end,
did get it.
He did get the 5-second penalty, but it didn't upset. He ended up still finishing fifth, as it was. Charles Leclerc demoted from sixth to eighth behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton. So all in all, in the end for Ferrari, a bit of a disappointing
Very
weekend.
disappointing, considering they brought quite a few updates that they've been working on. Lewis trying to motivate the team. I'm very happy with the updates. We're looking strong this weekend. Well, you're going home empty-handed. No podium, nothing. No silverware, nothing.
Nope.
So, considering, I read an article this weekend about Enzo Ferrari, that Ferrari is the only team, of course, in Formula One since 1950. They've never skipped a season. But to be honest, the success stories, there are getting very few. And they need another success story. And I'm sure they're scratching their heads. Why did we let Kimi go? He signed for Mercedes and not for Ferrari. He had the potential to sign for Ferrari. Something has to change there drastically. If it's only on strategy, if it's on
because that's
internally.
the crazy thing. They've got, from a starting point of view, they've clearly got the best car to make a jump.
They have the car, Charles performing always in the top 3 with qualifying or racing. They're there on the opening lap, they're leading the Grand Prix, and they end up with a 6th and 7th and an 8th position.
But how annoying you've been in that position when decisions are made, and ultimately the engineers are paid to make decisions on your behalf. They've got all the data in front of them. Your job's just to drive the car. But when you hear, I can't believe in this day and age, you've got Charles saying, why did we pit?
Yeah.
Why was I not consulted? Why was I
And
not?
then there's radio silence.
And then they're like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the pointing again. You know, if it was the perfect pit stop, they would say, yes, that was me. Grazie mille, ho fatto io. And no, but if it's not you, then it's like, stay quiet.
Someone will notice.
Yeah.
But it amazes me that, Robert.
Yeah,
and mistakes happen in elite sport.
I'm sure they can build a fast race car, but internally something is not gelling.
Because ultimately, I mean, you tell me, is it the job of the engineers to tell the driver what the strategy is, what the plan is, or is it very much you just focus on driving as quick as you can?
In this particular race, Chris, it was quite clear. It was a one-stop strategy. You start on the mediums and you change around lap 20 to the hards, and that's it. You know, so there's no rocket science there, unless you have a terrible start. What happened to Max? So you do an early pit stop. You communicate a little bit about the tire wear. There was not a huge degradation. There was wear of the tires. You saw marbles all over the track, but not a huge degradation. You just communicate with each other. But if you just out of nowhere just decide to do a pit stop, which makes no sense, you fall in the pack, you lose time on your outlap. And you can say for Ferrari also to protect them a little bit. Yeah, Charles should have just driven this third place home. You know,
true.
To spin that late in the Grand Prix, knowing that you lost the positions, it's easy to say from my comfortable chair, but with his talent, I think he just should have brought it home.
Talking about spinning, we don't often see it from your man, Max.
I
mean, wow, first lap. Firstly, the spin itself is so uncharacteristic from him, but you're a man that has been in that cockpit. You can tell us, how impressive is it that he keeps that car?
I would have just taken off at least 2 corners and the front wing and potentially also the gearbox. This guy, with any driver on the grid, I would say it's more luck than talent. But with him, seeing the onboard and hearing when he releases the throttle, it's just pure skill. It's pure skill.
How no one hits him, though.
His dad will say, come and drive the rally car next weekend with me, because this was pure driving skill.
It's stunning.
And that nobody hits him.
And no one hits him, but he's able to do the 360.
And keep the momentum. Yeah.
But he would have been raging at himself there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he would be raging because it was uncharacteristic for him to be in that position. He almost looked like he got scared a bit from Charles Leclerc turning in. He was like, oh, he's turning in. Then he had to go on the curb and then he spun. So, but Charles thought, this is my position now. This is my moment. I'm leading this Grand Prix.
But, you referenced it earlier on in this pod. When Max gets that little chip, when he feels that he's been hard done by, or perhaps he knows he's made a mistake, he puts the blinkers on.
You don't want him behind you. Then.
And there's a total disregard for where he finishes the race, whether he finishes. It looks to me from the outside.
If he finishes, it doesn't matter.
He's just so uber aggressive. He'll make the line and it's up. And Lewis wilts, Carlos Sainz wilted. Everyone who comes into his vicinity, nope, I'm not going there. I'm not touching that. He just dive bombs into these corners.
All in.
It's incredible.
I saw even with the Perez at one stage. I think he was half the straight behind, the front straight behind Perez, who slowly tried to turn in, and he just saw this blue Red Bull dive bombing him, and he went like with the steering wheel like this. You saw that? Because he came from far. But then he's head down, his position changes a bit in the cockpit, and he's just focused on getting to the front as fast as possible.
Best qualifying up until yesterday or this weekend was 8th. He qualified 2nd for the race. Okay, disappointing start. Fell back down,
but it's promising for Red Bull. And it's still, we have a beautiful engine in front of us. The Red Bull powertrain is fighting against all the big OEMs, and the engine is not disappointing them. The engine is actually quite good. It's very impressive. It's more the balance they were struggling with, the aerodynamics. They needed the upgrade, and they needed to lose a bit of weight. They lost 6.5 kilos with the car. So they were 12 kilos over. Now they're only 6 kilos over.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it all makes a difference in the world of Formula One.
Been a lot of chatter about him. I know we spoke about it on my radio show heading into Miami. Still the speculation, of course, the big news, aside from Alan McNish coming in to Audi. That was a big story in the, I say off-season, but
Scottish.
in this Scottish. Nice to have another Scot in there. The other big news, Gianpiero Lambiase. He's going to be leaving to McLaren.
Yeah, as a racing director, he got a huge offer. His pay rise went through the roof. So everybody said, okay, on all good stories, there's an end. We had an incredible run here for 10 years. Time to go elsewhere. And then I noticed that Laurent Marquis said, well, if you can become team principal somewhere, that's a dream for everybody. And then Zach Brown was very fast to say, no, we already have the best team principal in the paddock with Andrea Stella.
But there's speculation that Andrea's...
I think Laurent Marquis is right. And Zach was like, ooh, he caught me off guard a little bit.
Because Andrea's going to go back.
Andrea has to go back to Ferrari one day, I think. And to be honest, I think they also need him.
But you were pointing out as well, when GP leaves, Horner's gone, Adrian Newey gone.
Yeah.
Jonathan Wheatley gone from Red Bull. You're starting to cross off a lot of the team that made Red Bull the dominant force.
And most of them went to McLaren. Most of the good ones, also we're talking about aerodynamics, is with Bob Bell, we have Courtney, was a strategist. They all go to the McLaren dream. And those are big shoes to fill at the end of the day.
So you know where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
GP
and I think,
leaving.
Yeah. I think Max will just say, I take it weekend by weekend. This overall was a very positive weekend. I haven't made up any decisions yet, but if they can keep this up, they please him. And he's happy to stay at Red Bull because he promised Red Bull to stay, but he also knows that Red Bull has to supply him with a...
And that's it. Ultimately, it comes to...
You can't expect him to drive around in 7th and 8th place for the rest of his career.
So he walks away from this weekend, what's his
feeling?
Happy.
I think he's happy. Yeah, it's a massive difference than the first 3 weekends. So it's a shame that we have to wait 3 weeks now. But then, positive vibes for Red Bull. Not so much for Isaac Hadjar, though.
I was about to say.
Not so much. Would the jinx, the second driver jinx already?
There's a man. He was like a child having a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Because he knows it was an elementary mistake.
I mean, things don't go your way. You have a bad qualifying. You're second of the pace. You say, guys, I don't understand what's going on. I see the data. I've been faster than Max initially. But this is Max also. Eh? Max he absorbed the first 3 weekends. That was also with Perez. When there was a new error, Perez was very close. But then he absorbs the car. He complains about a few things. He didn't like the steering rack, Max. He said, since the test in Barcelona, I feel something. If you can find this stuff for me and fix it, I can drive this car faster than what I do now. And slowly you see that the car gets towards Max's driving style. And I think Isaac then realizes it. Okay, this is a big change suddenly. And then in the race, after 5 laps, you're starting last. You hit the wall on the inside where nobody hit the wall all weekend.
No, they're getting close to it. But that's F1 driving.
That's F1 driving.
He hits it, race over, into the wall he goes. And then he is furious.
He gets a tantrum, yeah. Do you recognize this from your own kids?
I do.
This is
the slamming, and he sits in the cockpit.
For a long time, but this is his way to get over,
And even when he gets out, he's talking to himself. He is furious. Damage to the car. Obviously, his race is over. Yeah. And it perpetuates what we're discussing now, the idea that the second seat of Red Bull is cursed. Yeah. He is falling foul to it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pressure on that young man.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
They've gone through Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda. Now they're to him. Started off out-qualified. Max down under, didn't he? Down in Melbourne.
He did. And also, I think in the other race in China or in Japan, he was, competitive compared to Max. But Max wasn't on the limit with the car yet. He didn't feel comfortable in the car. So, he won't be happy that there's also a 3-week gap because you want to get back in the car as fast as possible.
Straight away.
Yeah.
One man we need to mention, because I always like to give credit to other drivers that perhaps don't get the headlines. What about Franco Colapinto?
Very, the 7th position in the end. 5 points, 6 points. Very well done. Job well done. I mean, he out-qualified Pierre Gasly twice this weekend. He was really on it. He was, maybe it was the Messi support that he got, to Argentinians. And I'm happy for him because it's not nice to have always pressure on you and you're not delivering. And then with Flavio as a team boss, he will definitely tell you also if he's not happy with you. So it was a good result for him. No mistakes, considering he only finished like 5 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Good job.
A very good job. Pierre Gasly, on the other hand, I was telling you as well that this weekend I was down at Ferrari World down in Abu Dhabi. Had a great weekend down there. Yeah, I recommend it to anyone.
You did all the roller coasters?
Did all the roller coasters.
Which one's your favorite?
Well, Formula Rossa's the big one, right? It's the
acceleration.
Quickest launch.
Did you have the cheeks go like,
yeah? And then you'd lift off.
Nice.
Fastest launch in the world of any roller coaster. Yeah. For me, though, Flying Aces.
Yeah, you told me.
It was. I love a roller coaster, Robert.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the very best that I've done. The banking left, the banking right. I absolutely adored it. The reason I say that is because, Pierre Gasly was on his own roller coaster.
Yeah.
Liam Lawson just touched him.
A slow motion roller coaster.
It was a bit slow.
Slow motion roller coaster.
But he still ended up turned over. You don't often see that these days in Formula One cars.
No. I think one of the last times we saw it was in Abu Dhabi with Nico Hulkenberg. It was on the side. And then sometimes you hear the radio like, oh, I smell fuel. Or, oh, I smell... Then it gets scary if you're upside down. I mean, I've experienced a few times myself.
Have you?
I think if any team boss is watching now, they will still remember the invoice afterward, which was, the moment you touch wheels and you see the sky, it's a split second. You just know this is not going to end well. I have a picture at my house when I'm actually flying and the car is still in one piece.
Off the track.
Off the ground, upside down like this. And I sent it to the team boss. I said, look, here it's still in one piece. 1 second later, it was like 600,000 pounds worth of damage. But when you see blue skies, you have a problem. Give
us an insight. What are you taught as you go? I mean, again, these are split seconds. As you go airborne, are you supposed to relax, or is it human nature
your life flashes by, Chris, and you take your hand off the steering wheel, you just wait for impact, you brace for impact. And before you know it, it's over. And then you have the walk of shame back to the pits.
The walk of shame.
Yeah.
That means a very different thing.
Where did you park it? Well, it's valet parking turn 2. I destroyed the car. It happens. It's part of racing. Thank God the roll bars are there and the halo. And I mean, look at how safe Pierre walked away.
He's quickly said, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
He's obviously gutted.
Yeah, of course.
Walk of shame's to come, although through no real fault of his own. It's Liam Lawson.
Liam had no right to be there on the inside that aggressive. Liam is very up and down. Great qualifying effort, one of his best, and then he does this after a few laps in the race. It's hard for Liam to be consistent.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I've actually asked you this. Have you broken any bones?
I did. I had a big one in IndyCar. I hit the wall at 320 kilometers an hour. Collapsed my lung, broke my rib, had a collarbone fracture. And I remember that I was in hospital. And then the organization came by and they gave me a check of $100,000 for the biggest crash of the month. I was like, thank you, I'm there. So that squeaking your lungs like... But yeah,
only in the US.
Only in the US you get prize money for the biggest shunt. Yeah.
That's so good. Right, we've got 3 weeks now until Montreal. I mean, there's been a lot of chatter. Obviously, the final race of the season, all roads do lead to Abu Dhabi, Etihad Airways, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, first weekend of December. Interested to read, though, over the course of the last couple of weeks, Silverstone have stuck their hands up to say, listen,
if you want to do 24 races,
you want to fill some holes during the summer break. I'm hearing whispers, the likes of Audi, Cadillac, they've said, hold on a second, we sold ourselves to sponsors on 24 races. So maybe Stefano coming under a little bit of pressure to fill some holes. I'm hearing
Istanbul. A bit like in COVID time.
A little bit. Istanbul.
Yeah.
Silverstone have said, we're open for business. Yeah, we've got a full calendar, but for F1 we can...
It's hard to schedule it because it's such a tight schedule already with all the... There's on YouTube a video of DHL, how they do the logistics. It's mind-blowing how they do it nowadays, with freight, boats and planes. And don't forget, all the traveling is also more expensive now due to the fuel prices that's going up, what's going on. So...
But I can't help but thinking, listen, I'm
two more races, I would be up for it.
I'm not getting into the logistics. I take all of that point. There is a lot to be considered. Yeah. But given the fact we've had an enforced break, we've had this race at Miami and now we're into another 3 week. Can't help but think that summer, do the drivers really need the summer off?
Yeah, in the summer, if you're in Europe, it's quite easy to do another race than in one of the European tracks. I agree. I agree.
We're not moving anything in Abu Dhabi.
No, Abu Dhabi will remain the final for sure, and that's what everybody's focused on.
4 races down, 18 to go. I think we're in for a really good season. Now, I was a bit worried. Said on this podcast, I was thinking Mercedes, and I'm still a little bit worried
Well,
that you've said.
there's an upgrade package coming. So, but I was thinking about George and Kimi only for the championship. And I think now George has to watch his back, that not another driver comes in. I mean, Lando's a bit far behind because he didn't do well in the first few races. But it can change overnight quickly.
And those upgrade packages, just so I'm aware, we obviously saw big strides taken by certainly McLaren, no doubt about that, Red Bull. If you're telling me McLaren are about to roll out their own upgrades for Montreal, can we still expect to see improvement?
Mercedes will bring
Mercedes,
more.
sorry. Do you still expect to see other teams continue?
Yes. And the development race is ongoing. It never stops. So as long as you gather as much data as you can, so you finish all the races and you learn by doing, you can improve the car.
Okay, so...
And Red Bull in the past has been one of the best developers in season. But they lost quite a bit of staff. So who knows how they do this year. But they've made a huge step. McLaren, by far the biggest step of all. I agree with you. And then Ferrari, if this was an upgrade package and you finish in these positions...
Yeah, they've got another big couple of weeks to come. One team that I don't think it matters what you do. I don't think it matters if you are able to bring back Michael Schumacher and his pomp. It would not matter because that Aston Martin car is an absolute pile of you-know-what. Steaming, you-know-what.
Steaming, you-know-what. Yeah, must be the same. That must be so painful for these drivers, to get in there knowing that you can't do anything. Even on the softs, I saw Lance Stroll driving around. He was slower than the Cadillacs. I mean, it's just, there's nothing there. And if you write off a season, it's still very long, to travel to another 18 Grand Prix. Of course, you have your medias and your sponsors. You have to fulfill all their needs. Knowing that the car is just not moving forward.
I'm popping you on the spot massively here, Robert.
Oh, that's what you always do.
But if anyone can do this, it's you. Has there been, in recent history, a more disappointing or bigger drop-off from expectation of a team and a car to what we've actually been given?
In very recent history. Now I'm putting you on the spot, Chris McCarthy. In very recent history, we had one of the top teams, if not the best team in the world.
Ferrari?
No, the best team in the world. The winning 7 championships on the trot, Mercedes. They came up with a 2022 car in Barcelona without the side pods. And it was 4 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
I mean, they recovered a little bit, but it took them at least $400 million to write off. There was one designer that built this car in general at Mercedes, and he thought, okay, I'm thinking outside of the rule books. This is going to be mega, or it's going to be a pile of
steaming,
you know what. And it was definitely that one, because after 2 laps in Barcelona, Lewis did like a 1:40s, 4 seconds off the pace, and it didn't improve the lap time. So yes, it happens once in a while in Formula One, but that was the most recent one. Mercedes from hero, fighting for a championship until the last round.
And let's be honest, that's a bigger one because of the position they had.
Yeah.
Aston Martin,
was already a little bit...
Yeah, we were just expecting more.
Expected a lot more.
But I mean, some of their times they were putting in, their qualifying time, slower than what we saw
in Formula 2.
In Formula 2. Come on, Robert.
No, it's bad publicity for the sport, for the brand. It's nothing to do with the drivers anymore. I think Lance Stroll even said, I was bored the last 5 weeks, so I tested the Formula 3 car. I have so much fun.
That ain't good either.
That ain't good either.
Button it, son.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to read as well, Fernando, who we always thought this would be his final year. In recent weeks, he's now hinting that this can't be.
You can't finish like this. A career like his, I mean, even though he's 45 years old, 46, he needs to finish on some sort of a high. And hopefully 27 season will give him a car that is a bit more competitive.
Can you give praise to Cadillac, or are they doing...
Well, to be honest, I really thought Cadillac, when I was in Bahrain and I saw the gap they had, 5 seconds off the pace, I was like, okay, this is going to be like an Olympic thought. Just managing to go to all the races, trying to survive, a bit like the Minardi days. But they did quite well. They looked racy yesterday.
They did a little bit, little moments.
Yeah, home race, sponsors,
first year
happy.
in F1. I mean, they are going to be, they're going to be there or thereabouts.
Something
at the back
really
end.
crazy has to happen if they
Yes.
score a point.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Listen, conscious of time, we started talking about a young Italian finding his way, superstar Kimi Antonelli, very much the poster boy of Formula One right now. Things can change quickly. A quick word, though, on, and it was almost the passing of the torch in some ways. Of course, the tragic passing on Friday of Alex Zanardi, 59 years of age. What that man went through in his life, the crash that saw him lose both legs in 2001, to then go on and become a Paralympian, 4-time gold medalist in hand cycling, to transition almost 2 lives, 2 careers, losing his life. You've met Alex on a number of occasions. Just how much has he done for the sport of F1, for motorsport in general?
If you have such a big name in motorsport, you've done something extremely well. He's very popular in the US. He was a fierce competitor in kart, which was the predecessor when I arrived. It was Champ Car, IndyCar. Very successful. Obviously,
back-to-back champion.
Yeah, back-to-back champion. Obviously raced also in Formula One. And then that incident that happened at the Lausitzring was just terrible to look at. And it is something that hopefully will never happen again in racing, but it's also something you cannot test the cars on, because nobody expects you to be sideways on a track when somebody else rides at 300 kPa plus and hits you at the weakest part of the chassis. Terrible. We're not going to go into details, but obviously he lost his legs. And what I'm mostly impressed with Alex, is his fierce competition in his mind that why is it? Okay, this is my situation now. I'm still going to enjoy life and I still want to do competition. They even made him a car that he could race with hand. Throttle was on the right hand, the brake on the left hand. Then not sitting there and being sad, my life is gone. No, like you said, a second life, which he was also outstanding in. So yes, Italy has lost a legend and the rise of a new legend.
And you talk about strength. I couldn't believe, and
mental strength,
the outpouring of emotion, and obviously tributes to him. But in that crash, his heart stopped 7 times. He survived over an hour with just a litre of blood in his body. I mean, talk about...
It's one of the worst crashes in the history of motor racing. And I can't mention the driver that hit him. That he has to live with it as well.
But for you to survive that...
It's nuts.
To then your point, have the mental capabilities to overcome a new reality, the strength of mind, strength of character, spirit, will, call it what you will, to then not feel sorry for yourself, to then inspire
other people and to go for competition again. This guy needed competition.
I can't fathom it.
No. That's next level.
It is
next level.
Incredible.
A true champion.
What a competitor. Alex Zanardi, who passed away on Friday at the age of 59. And I can't help but think, had he been around to watch Kimi, he knows that Italian racing has someone very,
have a bright
very
future.
special.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. You're excited about this year.
I'm very excited about this year and about what Kimi can do and the growth he still can achieve, because it's only his second. He started his second season in Formula One. Think about it.
Insane.
He's only done 26 races or something in his career, and he's already dominating the sport.
And he's doing things that have never been done before.
No.
I think the only man that's not happy that he's doing that is George Russell. Penny for his thoughts moving forward. Right, Robert, of course, all roads do lead to Abu Dhabi. AbuDhabiGP.com is where you can pick up your tickets. All manner of tickets available. Gold Circle to obviously all of the musical artists.
Yeah, you have to experience it. If you haven't done... They won the Promoter of the Year award last year for a reason. This was, they raised the bar compared to any other...
Because I was saying to you,
the Miami is up there now as well. Miami, and I saw some other promoters. I saw our Dutch promoter of the Grand Prix walking around, Prins Bernhard. Obviously, Zandvoort, the last time they are on the calendar this year. But everybody's always looking at each other to get some inspiration. And I think lots of people will be visiting Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, AbuDhabiGP.com. Want to say that again, to pick up your tickets, avail yourself of all of the VIP offerings as well down there on Yas Island. If you've never experienced it, you are in for a treat.
And also go to the Ferrari roller coaster because Chris survived it.
Flying aces. I'll say it again. This isn't a free plug. I paid top dollar.
Does this also mean that you want to do a hot lap with me in any race car around the track? If you can do this, the flying aces. I mean, this for me, it's,
I've spent a lot of time with you lately, and you're offering these hot laps to everyone that I introduce you to. You're saying, I'll bring in a hot lap. And everyone's like that. I have no problem.
No.
I mean it with you. I love my roller coasters.
Let's go.
I will take on.
Let's ask
being your
Guitarra to
passenger.
organize it in Abu Dhabi.
Let's do it. And you can go as fast as you want, Robert.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I won't be holding on. I won't be screaming. None of that. I'm okay with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
Flying
really
Aces
going to try it all. I'm going to give it all I have.
is an amazing roller coaster. You got to check
Even
it
if
out.
we do a Gasly? No, I'm not going to do Gasly.
No. Let's settle that down. There'll be no Pierre Gasly's, thank you very much, on Yas Marina Circuit. I was about to say touch wood. Pit Talk, powered by Ifara. Do subscribe to us. Of course, the podcast available on all major platforms. Tell your friends about us as well, the Pit Talk Pod. Follow us on social medias. You did a hot lap before Miami. You've had a bit of a filming session with the team.
Yeah.
You've done every race from now
all the
to
races.
the end.
19 races we did in, what was it? I think in 2 hours or something.
That's good. So you were quick.
I remembered most of the tracks.
One take, Robert.
One takers.
Good man. I love it. So they will be rolled out before every single race.
Yeah.
And the next up is Montreal. And that is a cracking circuit.
That's a cracking circuit. Fantastic vibe as well in Montreal. But also a low grip surface, which means for George Russell already, he doesn't like it. So something has to, he can write it off. But something has to change for George. Great weekend. Jumping the curbs, left and right. Wall of Champions. See how everybody gets on. The weather also plays a role sometimes.
Yeah, it does in Montreal.
Look forward to that. And if you have any questions, always, use the socials.
Yeah.
So we can
ask
help
this
you out
man
with that.
anything. If you want to know any secrets behind, of course, behind the scenes, any juicy gossip, he's the man for
Parties,
it.
yeah.
Right, we're back with the Pit Talk, powered by Ifara. Next time around, race 4 in the can. Kimi Antonelli is the man to catch. It might just be the case come the end of the season as well. Ta-ra for now.
Bravo, Kimi.